Hello, welcome to Breakaway with Dawn and Friends. I'm back. It has been a minute, but I am here to share my voice, to be heard, to uplift. Sorry, I'm being too silly. I'm so excited to record with Claudia. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Don. Nice to see you. I'm happy to be here today. Thank you.
Yes, I
Yay.
appreciate you. Thank you. You help me
Of
do
course,
what we do here. I hope you know that.
of course.
So,
Thank you.
um, I did ask you, please let's record. I've been feeling a bit heavy. I've been seeing it all around me. So many people feeling and feeling anxious. Like I feel like it's louder than ever, right? People are stressed, overwhelmed, and they're carrying quite a bit around. And so I thought, I think we need to talk about this because life will always be lifing, right? And so you need to, I want to just talk about a few things, but I just feel you need to remember, what you value, try to stay grounded because the storm of life will always come through, right? And so you are stronger than that storm. And so my hope here is to share some of my thoughts and feelings, and Claudia's gonna weigh in as my friend, as she always does. And just hopefully this will help someone else because I feel like I see it all around me, and I want to give people to know that they're not alone, and that we always go through things, right? And there is a way to be in the eye of the storm. And so hopefully you'll get some breakaway tips. So yeah, so if you're listening, this is for you. You're not alone. Okay, so there are like seasons in life where everything feels like everything is happening at once. And I hear this a lot from some friends, right? So whether you feel that the rug has been pulled out from under you, or, like left and right, you're just trying to figure things out. Like, where do you stand, right? So, you still show up for work, you still have your family, you're there for everyone else. So I would like to, let's see how this episode goes, but I would like to call this Faith It Till You Make It.
I love that. That's a great name.
I think by now they know I'm cheesy. So I want to be clear, this isn't about pretending that everything's okay, right? And it's not about choosing faith, or no, I'm sorry. It is about choosing, excuse me, faith, right? And focus and forward moving while you're trying to figure things out. Like, that's okay. Life is always going to be that way. And when you think about it, like, I just feel that's what makes it exciting, because when you come out from the other side of it, you just appreciate it more. And then a lot of times when you're in it, you can't see that it truly is a blessing, the hardship that you're having, right? Because then you're going to look back most of the time and be grateful for that and not even know that it was a blessing.
Right. Well, it's I'm just thinking now because I know we're having somewhat rainy weather here and there, but
Oh, I hate it.
thinking
Yes.
metaphorically, right? When it rains and what happens after the rain, right? We think, oh, it's so stressful maybe for some people to drive in the rain. Oh, I just don't like it because it ruins my plans or I can't go outside.
Hmm.
But what happens after, right? When the
Hmm.
rain goes away, the clouds are clear, the sun is out. That's kind of like the aftermath, right? Of after a rainy day, which kind of coincides with what you're saying. We go through this journey in life where all these things are happening all at once and we wonder, what's the purpose of this? And I'm trying to see the purpose of it, but I don't quite see it until the sun comes out. And then you realize, oh, okay, I get it now. Everything's blossoming now. Everything feels a little bit different. The air is crispier, it's cleaner. And then now I feel maybe a little more energized, right? So something to that effect. I was just trying to think.
Yes, like to your point, like we have versions or images and timelines, right, of things, right? And so you have this picture in your head, and you have that emotional attachment, that whether it's spiritual, whatever, right? Like it, and sometimes, as you're saying, it doesn't match up, right? So then we create anxiety, disappointment, even shame, depending on where your mind is going with this. But
Right.
to your point, we need to start questioning ourselves. What, and again, I hope this makes sense. Like, when I'm feeling this way, like, okay, what am I doing wrong? Why am I behind? What does everyone else seem to have it together? Like, those are bad questions in my opinion. But when you're in it, that's what you're thinking, so negative. What am I doing wrong, you know? Why am I behind? Why does it seem like everyone else have it together? That's not what it is, you know, when you have this vision, like for your day, like you're saying, you know, you're going to do all these things on a beautiful day and it turned out to be crappy weather day. But to your point, once you get through that,
Right.
yeah, I love that analogy, by the way.
Yeah. And
Ah,
and I think it's just going back to what you said is collectively, I think we're experiencing a communal level of anxiety for various reasons. It could be, anything associated with you personally, anything outside of that, what we read, what we hear, what we see. It's a collective, kind of like COVID. COVID happened, and it was a collective level of
mhm,
stress and
mhm,
worry around what is going to happen. So I really appreciate you speaking about this, because a lot of times we wonder, is it just me that I'm in my
mhm,
head, in my
mhm,
feelings, thinking that I'm the only one that I'm experiencing these high levels of worry or
mhm.
anxiety or fear, whatever comes with that. But reality is, Don, is that that's not necessarily the case. When you start to speak of it, it's almost like we need reassurance and validation that, you know what, you're not alone. I too feel afraid. Even the most confident person will experience some level of worry and fear and whatnot, right?
Right. And I know it's easy for me to say this, but I think, you know, you have to be more intentional, right? So you got to be more in the moment. I think being present. And do you know that I never realized before? You know how a therapist will give you that tip, count, focus on something, right? Never occurred to me then. Duh, that's making that person be very present in the moment. So giving them that tool is forcing them to be present in that moment.
Absolutely, which is really hard, right? Because there's so many
Yes.
distractions, and if we allow ourselves, our thoughts to get the best of us, we will live in them, right? And
Yes.
we lose touch, we lose sight, and we're always wanting, potentially, because it feels safe, to know what's going to happen next. And when we don't know what's going to happen next, then that only magnifies the level of worry that we have, right? That creates
Yes.
more anxiety and
Right.
the ongoing thoughts of like, what direction am I headed here, when I don't know, or I need to know what's the next plan, right?
Right. And, you know, as your life coach, my job is to challenge what you think, your actions, right? So, like, for me, instead of asking negative questions like, what am I doing wrong? It's not that you're doing something wrong. It's not that you're behind. It's not that everyone else seems to have it together. You don't know what's going on inside of that person. Do you know what I mean? Because it's so funny. People see me, they're like, wow, you did so good, but inside I was not. You didn't like you don't know what it's like on the inside, right? So, you know, we should not be comparing, but I think you should ask yourself more positive things. Like, so depending on what you're dealing with in that moment to be present, what matters? What am I trying to achieve? What do I need to do? Like, I just feel you got to ask more
Intentional
relevant, I don't
questions.
know, like more
Relevant,
direct
right?
questions than
Sure.
don't have that negative, you know, because there's nothing wrong with you. Like, I think people right away think that, you know, they're not good enough, there's something wrong with them. No,
Sure.
you are. God does not make mistakes. You are who you're supposed to be, and even the worst day, like, that is your journey. Like, that is your experience, and I believe resistance causes resistance. So the more you resist something, the
Oh yeah,
more it's gonna, you know, keep
heavily.
it there. Do you know what I mean? And some my boss sometimes will always tell me, "You're nicer than me. Like, you know, you take too much ownership." Like, or like, I'm paraphrasing here exactly her words, but she always says I'm too nice and that, you know, I do take on a lot of the responsibility. I said, well, because I want to grow. Even if I know I'm not at fault, or, you know, I just, okay, what could I have done differently? What could I do? Like, I just, because I don't want to give into that resistance, right? I want to get past this. Let me just open myself up to another, you know, aspect of this. Like, right? Can I see this differently? Can I be differently? You know what I mean? So I love challenging and questioning myself all the time. So I do feel that's one breakaway tip that Claudia and I think we're both saying the same thing differently, right? I do think that's one breakaway tip, you know, is to challenge yourself and question, right?
Right. And that is a symbolism of growth, right? When you sit with it and you reflect on the circumstances, right? And what are my takeaways from this situation, right? What did I learn from this experience, rather than what you said? what's wrong with me? Why did I do this? And this self-blame and this, need to talk down to ourselves, I think is really damaging. And
Mhm.
instead of looking at it from that stance and say, okay, it's not the best day today, or
Yeah.
these things happened to me and I was not expecting it. Okay, but let me reset. Okay, what are some takeaways that I can
Right.
learn from this situation, right? Because
Right.
every opportunity we get, a mistake doesn't mean that we're, you know, failure. Exactly. It means, okay, well, let's try a different approach next time. Right. That clearly didn't work for a reason. And I
Mhm.
think that consistently we're being tested, right? The universe, God,
Mhm.
whatever you believe in, consistently tests us and puts us in situations until we potentially get it, until we can
Yes. Yeah.
officially say, you know what? Okay, I get the lesson. Like,
Yes. No,
what am I going to
seriously.
do because of
Yes.
that? Right.
Yes. No, so true. And I'm hopefully I'm on point with this, but I believe rejection is God's protection. Right? So when something doesn't go my way, or if something doesn't, like, if I'm putting this effort and it doesn't like come out that way, like, trust me, it's not easy, you guys. It has taken me a lot to get to this point, but it truly is. You have to I'm gonna say this funny, rewire your brain, right? Like, because automatically you're gonna go to that negative thought or that negative tendency, that habit, right? So you need to, in the moment, just rewire that by shifting that thought and that negativity to a positive, right? And so even though I thought that would be good for me, or I wanted that so bad, like I truly, 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 truly believe rejection is God's protection, right? So that universe, whatever you believe in, is telling you, no, honey, this is not for you right now. Doesn't mean it's not for you, but right now or whatever. Like, hopefully I'm on track with you. But my mind, just for awareness for the listeners, I have so much in my head, you guys, that I want to share. And when I go too long without talking to Claudia, this is what you get. Like, there's thoughts in my
I love it.
and
So
my
excited.
brain.
I like that.
No, thank you. But I'm listening to her and I'm like, yes. And then another thought will come to my head. So just I'm trying to like stay focused with this, but I'm just excited. And I have so much to say and share. And so anyway, sorry. But um resistance calls resistance. So I feel when you're in the thick of it, just try to be more present and realize, embrace it, whatever that struggle may be. You have to embrace it to get through it. The only way through it is through it, right? So as simple as I'm saying this is, we all know it's not easy. Simple and easy are two different things. Right? So doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you know, when you can step out and look back, you're going to be, a lot happier.
Sure.
But
And also too, there's a sense of gratitude at some point. I know what you said is the only way to get through difficult times or difficult thoughts is to go through it, right?
yes.
And
Yeah.
and again, not easy, but thinking about not even thinking about what the end result is going to be, but more so like, okay, I'm in this now. I'm in the eye of the storm, right?
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
do I navigate through this eye of the storm, right? Not thinking ahead of what I do when I do get out of it, but more so just riding the wave, being present,
Yes.
embracing what it is, and
Yes.
whatever that may look like to you. If it's crying, if it's, expressing yourself to your best friend because you're upset and you had a bad day, if it's, spending time and having your face covered by a pillow and screaming into whatever it is it's going to be, I
Mhm.
think it's very important to honor that
Yes.
feeling,
Yes.
um, so that it'll help you get through it, right? And
Yes.
work your way through that notion of, oh gosh, it's I'm over flooded with whatever it might be, and
Right. Right.
honoring that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you made me think of something recently that I experienced with a friend. So, early January, a friend and I booked a trip to Atlanta, Georgia to see a pastor that we listen to. So I listen to her every day. And then on Sundays, obviously she's in Atlanta. So this is online, right? But she's also a mentor. She's a business and she's made people millionaires and things like that. So um, we're both, her and I, obviously I'm a life coach here. I'm trying to be an
Mhm.
entrepreneur, I guess, but I do feel it's my purpose. So it doesn't have to pay my bills. But anyways, but I like to grow, right? I like to grow. And so I went, you guys, with the intention of having my cup being poured into, right? Because I like to think that all I do is pour into other people because I feel that that's my act of service. Like that's my purpose, right? To share my light and my voice, right? And so I'm always pouring into others. Well, then how do I give back to myself, right? So my friend and I want to do something together. And, you know, for me, this was like God based. Like this was, how was this not going to happen, you guys? I had planned for it. I was like, look, I get the car, she get the hotel. We got our tickets. We are VIPs. Like we were set, you guys, to like go on this amazing trip. And we wanted to network and just, have recharge ourselves. Like it was amazing, right? Okay. So now this is a friend that has been lately like in the eye of the storm, left and right. I'm not gonna lie, I don't disagree with her. She's going through it. Things are just happening, and it's just like, girl, if I didn't know you, I would not believe all these things, right? So we talk about them, whatever. But she, I think, needed that trip more than me. Now let's honestly, you guys, okay? So what happens? No joke. The morning of, we're supposed to fly out, she calls me and she's like, girl, I can't go. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to hear it. Like, there's no
Like,
way.
wait,
Hello, girl. There's no way. Like, your butt is getting on that plane, you know? And she's like, no, seriously. And so I was like, no, 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 girl. Like, I cannot accept that. This is our thing. Like, you, you, yeah.
I can
Anyways, no
only
judgment,
imagine.
but let me tell you, and this is not judging my friend. And I already told my friend this, and this is why I'm comfortable saying this. Nothing would have stopped me from going. Okay. So, the poor girl, and I get why she didn't go. Okay. I do and I don't. And we talked about this, so I'm comfortable. Right. So, you got up to the last minute. I tried to get this girl to like figure it out, do this, do that. Like, you got to get on that plane. Well, I end up alone going to Atlanta, Georgia, all by myself. You guys, it put me in a funk. I was not happy. I'm like, look, people that know me know I can do things by myself. I love myself. Like, I have no problem. And I've done this. Hello, I moved into to Missouri all by myself, right? I can do things on my own, but this was an adventure for a friend and I. Like, oh, so anyways, so I get on, I wanted to cry. I was so mad. I was like, no, right? So then I'm like, stop it. Stop it, Dawn. You know what I mean? Like, and so
Right.
then my husband's like, you're still gonna go? Yeah. Like,
Nothing
yes,
stopping
I
me.
paid for this. I am going. And,
Right.
sorry, girl, but I'm going, right? So
Right.
luckily, she got the hotel and I was still able to check in because she put us, anyways, nothing happened, right? So I was able to go, right? So I'm not gonna lie, I get on the plane, I'm so mad and I'm pouting and I'm like, why, God? Why did this happen? I think she should be here more than me. She needs it. So this whole time, and I'm so mad at myself that for most of that trip, I just kept questioning it. Okay. And I kept sitting, I don't get it. Right. So, anyway, so, okay, I go. And then the airport was a pain in the butt. I'm telling you, I almost cried. I almost had to, like, because I was thinking too much into the future. Oh my God, and again, I'm not scared, but it was just when you have this certain expectation of your life. Like, again, we talked about this earlier, right? You envision this, and then I was just like, Dawn, stop it. Okay. Embrace it. You would have came by yourself anyways. And I would have, right? So fine, I get to the hotel, do my thing. I get in there and oh my God, it was a beautiful event. So I'm sitting there and the whole time I'm trying to so hard to be present. And all I can think of is my poor friend and what she was going through. And I'm sitting here trying to be recharged, and I'm like, God, I wish she was here. She needs this, not me. But anyways, so then I didn't want to bug her because I know she's a little stressed, so I waited a day or so. So I went Thursday night over an overnight, and then the conference was Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday I stayed to watch the church live, to attend it live, because I'm always watching it online, right? So it was amazing, you guys. Like, I posted about it. Like, I really got so much. I didn't think I needed clarity because I felt like I know what my purpose is. I'm not gonna lie, I was really surprised coming back with more clarity and sense of stronger purpose. And I really felt recharged, but a little off. I came back, I can't believe it, agitated. And she kept warning us throughout the conference. Ooh, when you go home now, when you go home, be careful. You know what I mean? Like, things are gonna come at you because when you grow in your faith, or what, and just in life too, right? But when you grow in your faith, it's gonna seem like things are coming at you. And so I kept thinking, but it was my spirit, you guys, my spirit, because I think I yearned for more. I wanted more. So she warned us, coming back to your same. Do you know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
different, but your scenario's not, you know? So she was trying to equip us with the tools. But anyways, I'm getting a little off that
Yeah.
could be a whole different segment. But I
Like that could be a whole
finally,
nother podcast.
yes. So I finally talked to my friend, you guys, okay? And this is a perfect story to tie this into our segment. But anyways, so I finally talked to her because I felt bad because I didn't want to make her feel bad and all that. But anyways, so I finally talked to her and she's like, girl, I'm mad. Like she's like, I'm so jealous. And I'm like, don't be jealous. Like, and she's like, I want to be there. And, her family was kind of like, you could go again. And she's like, no, not the point. This was mine. Da, da, da. So I sat there and said, okay. Because I even said, you know how I feel. Rejection's God protection, girl. Like maybe this wasn't for you. I don't know why. And trust me, I've been questioning this whole time. Why? And I want an answer for you, right? And so
Right.
I sat there, and this is why I'm telling you guys, question yourself. And I said, girl, what I really think, this is your life. You constantly have a storm surrounding you. And you're constantly telling me, girl, I can't catch a break. Things are always happening. And her and I talk a lot about that. So I said, look, I'm not saying you didn't do the right thing by not going, but I'm sorry. Your life is not going to be any different. And if you don't make a change, you're going to be in that vicious cycle that keeps going around and going around and going around. And for me, this is the devil. This is whatever you want to call it. But this is, look it. It stopped you from going and to pouring into yourself and to do better. You allowed your family to allow that too. Like, I'm sorry. Happens to you all the time because, my dear, please receive it. You allow it. So until you do differently, your storm is not going to change. So and I said, I'm saying this because you told me right now, no, I don't want to hear it. Like, I should have gone. This was for me. This was all along. I go, if you felt that strongly that this was for you, this was a line, this was your moment, why did you let it stop you? Right. So we kind of had that like tough discussion a little bit. And I said, I'm sorry, but I feel like these are all your scenarios that you bring to me. These things keep happening because you're not doing anything different.
Wow. That is, I mean, to be able to have that conversation with your friend and hopefully, right? Again, no, with no judgment and whatnot, but I
No,
think it's
no.
important, going back to the purpose of this conversation, is being able to understand how the mindset that we have. I know sometimes it's very cliche to say this, but it's everything, right? Because how many times do we hear people say, with my luck, or,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this stuff always happens. Oh, I can never catch a
Mm-hmm.
break. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it. It comes from a point of desperation. It comes from a point of, gosh, really? Can I? But again, if we switch the mindset and how we talk to ourselves, it really does make a difference.
I'm telling you, there's power in words. And we've had that conversation before. Because I'm like, girl, stop it. Stop proclaiming that. Rebuke it.
No,
Like,
it's
oh my
true. Oh
gosh,
my gosh.
Yes,
It's so true. It's
Mhm.
because think about it. If you're consistently thinking that, okay, so then what hope do you have that things are going to get better?
Exactly. Yeah,
Then you're expecting it.
yeah.
You're expect
Yes.
and again, I'm not speaking to this situation in
No, no,
particular,
no,
but
no. Yes, me too.
general, right?
Yes.
We speak to that. I've been
Right.
guilty myself, it's like, but how do we then shift and stop punishing ourselves with this
Yes.
is, you know what I mean?
Yes.
This is what I get for blah 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 or
Yes.
whatever it may
Yes.
be, no?
What is that analogy? Your thoughts turn into feelings, which turn into actions, which turn into results.
That's
It's
correct.
more or less like that, okay, guys? But think about that. To your point, she keeps thinking, crap always happens to me. So then she's feeling it, right? So then that turns into that result. And then that's her reality. She never gets to progress because she's on that vicious negative cycle. Do you know
Right.
what I mean? Yeah, again, I don't want to get too much into it, but I just felt I get it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I get it. But I get why she didn't go, and I don't want to, tell her business, right? But all I have to say is on this, and I told her too, is at the end of the day, at some point, you have to put yourself first, and that is okay. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot keep taking the back seat to everything, and
Right.
they just got to figure it out, girl. Like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't cheap by any means, So I don't know. So I said, you know what? You know why this happened? Because I really think you needed to learn. You clearly need to learn the hard way, and you need to learn, like, and until you start to think and do things differently, nothing's going to change, no matter how much you think you're doing. Like, you planned on it, you bought the ticket, like, it in your mind, this was set and done, right? You can't force it. But, if you're not doing things different, it's not gonna change.
Absolutely.
So, that
Absolutely.
I had no intention on, like I said, I something you had said reminded me of it, but,
Right.
things like life happens, right? And so recently, I had a conversation with someone, and, um, I'd rather not say who, but this person has gone through, like, life-changing, and suddenly too, like, just life-changing things, right? And, you know, um, things that you yeah, so it things fall apart, right? They're uncertain. It shows up without warning. Like, this is when, like, you feel like the rug has been pulled from under, right? And so, I think, it was a good conversation, I think, that needed to be had. But, I just feel that, talking to that person, I told them, this is your journey. And I, she's a younger individual, right? And so I said, I can't wait for several years now when we come back and we revisit this, because you don't get it now. And as an unpleasant and unfair your situation may seem, this is the journey that is yours. And you can look at it this way, as in, this is what I don't have. This is what I can't do. This is what I'll never have. My life will never be this way. You can definitely keep on that path and thinking that, and have that negativity and have no hope, or you can see it in another way and embrace what you do have, and what you can do, and what you can be, and, like, literally just flip it. And that is literally a choice that you can make. And I think people forget that. They forget that happiness is a choice. You know, the cards that you are dealt are not a choice, 100%. But what you do with that is within your control, and you can change the narrative. And so we kind of, like, had, I would like to think, a moment, and we discussed that. I don't know what's gonna keep in there,
Love
but
it.
I can tell you
Right.
guys that has been listening to me. My uncle was, one of my uncles, was someone that was always there for me, and he would say things like this, that I'm having, like, this type of conversation with this individual. He would say things, and I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. Like, you don't want to hear it, right? When you're young,
Yes.
right?
Right.
But his words stayed with me. A part of me, like, and I've said this before, a part of having this podcast, for my kids to hear it later, for just people, like, words have had an impact on me. People that have shared wisdom and experiences. In the moment, I didn't realize it, but I did take it in, and the seeds were planted and they grew. Do you know what I mean? And so I try to be mindful of what I say, and I always try to, if people are open to it, I always try to, like, pour into them, and so, it was nice. But, I just asked that person to really, like, think about what's important, what you value, what you would like to be. Like, let's envision a different scenario, so that, that whole thought, feeling, result, action, action, result thing, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know if I got through to that person, but, my point to that person is, we all have our journey, and you just have to embrace it, so that you can have your best one life that you have, you know?
That's right. That's right. And only one life do we get, right? So, and understanding too that it's a journey that may take, for some may take longer than others to get to where that place. But when you do, let me tell you, when you have that realization or that aha moment or moments, it is by far so satisfying to know the purpose of that particular situation or the
Mhm.
purpose of that particular reason why you walked out of whatever
Yeah,
life you had or
yeah.
the it is unbelievably satisfying knowing that you get to that point. And
Mhm.
that's how we build on our experiences, and based on those experiences, what helps us be more resilient to certain circumstances.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's just a journey that you'll walk. You hopefully allow yourself the opportunity, I think is the point that we're saying today. Allow yourself the opportunity to immerse yourself in those circumstances,
Mhm. Mhm.
even though they feel uncomfortable. But the only way we grow, and I think we've said this before, is when you are feeling uncomfortable. And if you're feeling uncomfortable, is because it's an opportunity for growth, it's an opportunity for change.
Yeah, growth is always gonna be uncomfortable, you guys, you know? It's never gonna be easy or pleasant, right? And so a lot of times when people are like, "Why am I struggling with this?" And I tell them, "'Cause you're growing." You know? So I really want to be very clear because I do feel someone listening needs to hear this. It is okay to feel. It is okay to have a good day, a bad day. It's okay to feel happy and sad the next moment. I experience that a lot, right? And it's okay to feel strong today and exhausted tomorrow. Like every day is a different day. You embrace it, right? And your faith doesn't cancel emotions. Your faith doesn't require you to, emotionally be strong all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like healing is linear, right? Growth isn't loud, right? It's the strength that doesn't, like how do I say that? Like it's in my head, but it doesn't have numbness. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna, like what we just said, you're you're gonna feel it and you got to embrace uncomfortable. I tell my kids all the time, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
And what's so
Absolutely.
crazy when I told them that is growing up, like looking back, oh my God, I remember my dad always making me uncomfortable, making me do things that I was not happy about. You know what I mean? Let me tell you this story. And they laughed at me. One time he got a vacuum belt, right? And he's like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, and he's funny this way. Like he's the old school, right? Like, or was, excuse me. He gets this to me and says, go to the Home Depot. I think it was Home Depot. Go to the Home Depot, like one of those types of places. It was in North Hollywood, okay? Oh my God. It's this big warehouse store. Go return this and get my money back. I'm like, I don't have a receipt, dude. He's like, go do it. You guys, I was so embarrassed. He knew he sent me to the wrong place. So I go in there and I'm like, can I return this? And they're looking at me. I'm like 15, I don't know. And they're looking at me like, girl, this is not our product. And I'm like, but my dad sent me here. Like, he sent me here to return this, And I'm like, and I turned red. I get really, flustered or whatever.
That's right.
And I was like, what? And they're like, that's like from the dollar store. It wasn't a dollar store, you guys, but it was something similar, right? That's from across the street, go over there or whatever. And I was so embarrassed. And so I remember going, then I go to that place, I get it. And I was like, was this even worth me walking? Like he made us walk to a lot of places. Okay. So then I walked down, Lancashire, you guys, from like Burbank all the way to like, what was it? Doesn't matter. Oxnard, or whatever it was, but I grew up in North Hollywood. So um, I remember walking back and that man had a grin on his face. You know how angry I was? And I said, really? Really? And he's laughing. I'm like, why is that like funny to you? Like, I was so mad at him. I'm like, why'd you send me to the wrong place? But I don't know if he really knew what he was doing, but he clearly had intention, you guys. And so, like, he saw that I was very routine and structured. I was just built that way. You know what I mean? Being neglected. No, I'm joking. I take everything back from being the middle child to being neglected. I'm joking.
That's
But, um, just like, so he would always like, you're too routine. You're not going to know what to think or what to do if you're thrown off your routine. I'm so what? And he would always throw me off of my routine, you guys, I used to hate that. And so I didn't realize it then. Looking back, he made me so comfortable with being uncomfortable. So it's like, I can be uncomfortable. It's like, yes, I am, but I'm going to embrace it. And I didn't even realize, I don't know if he realized what he was doing, but it's just funny, like, and that's where that confidence come in. And I always say, I'm not confident. I'm not conceited. I'm confident, but I got that from him because he would say that, but it's so true. Right. But he just, it's amazing sometimes what parents can see in you or people. can see in you, you know? And so I remember him doing odd things like that. And ooh, it would just make you so angry, you know? But he helped me. Like, if I didn't have that type of parent, I don't think I could, I don't think I could hold the position that I hold
Sure.
or have dealt with the people that I have dealt with to get here. Do you know what I
Sure.
mean? Because that was all a journey, right? And
Right.
so um I can deal with someone being difficult and ornery and all because of the way he was with me. Girl, I did not know this conversation was going to go there.
That's okay. That's okay, but you just shared how
Mhm.
important it was, and that was a great example of how often you were put in situations to step outside of your comfort zone. And going back to your message is being comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Uncomfortable.
which
Yes.
is what helps you get through in life, right?
Right?
Wow.
Yes. And it's like I told them one time, oh my, I'm sharing with a lot, but no, this is not about family. But one time I'm in the car with my son. And I don't know if I've shared this already, but if I did, too bad. But it was just impactful. Okay. So I'm in the car and I get a call from work and I'm taking him to school. And so someone calls me and they're a little stressed out about something, right? And I'm telling them what to do. And you can tell this person is like frazzled and da, da, da. And
Frazzled.
I'm like, look,
Mhm.
take a breath. Okay. Take a breath. This is all you need to do. And so I give them, and
Tools, the
all the
direct.
all the
Yeah.
guidance and whatever. And my son's like, wow, mom. I'm like, yes, all day long, Evan. I'm here all day long. And I said, you don't listen to me, and I get it. I'm your mother, and on top of that, unfortunately for you, I'm a life coach, and you don't embrace it, and that's going to be your problem later, little boy. But anyways, I said, and I did say that to him, but I said, I'm telling you all the time, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. This person is a grown ass person, and they are not comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Sure. Yeah.
And I said, this is a prime example. You literally, I don't remember exactly what he said, but like he had an impression with that call. And he goes, wow,
Right.
mom, yeah, Evan. And this is what I deal with as being, the site leader or whatever, right? So I said, or of my department, whatever. So I told him, this is a prime example of someone not learning how to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable or comfortable with being uncomfortable, whatever, right? And I said, and that's not what I want from you. So when I'm telling you things and I'm trying to tell you, like, I want you just to embrace it. And so I'm so glad you got to hear that interaction because I hang up like, really? Really?
I
Right.
know.
But, you
Yes.
know, and so he just sat there and I don't know. Again, I can only keep trying to plant that seed with my kids and we'll see
Right.
where it goes. But so tip number 2, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes. Absolutely, and that's a great example, another great example as to what you're saying, right? Because you're not, well, with the kids aspect is you're helping them get through life because life is gonna it's like a box of chocolates, right? I just thought
Never know what
about
you're
what
gonna
you said.
get.
It's gonna you never know what you're gonna get, right? And that's the
Mhm,
truth. That's the
mhm.
truth.
Right? And you got to embrace it. So, I think if you can anchor your values, right? Because when I do deal with my kids, okay, what matters? What's important here? Like I do question them and they hate it, but I know I get their wheels turning, right? So I'm like, this is what you got to focus on. What's important? My values and what I think it's important is not the same as you. Like I would love people to hear me if you have kids or kids around you. It's like you have to know you're creating little human adults that have to operate in this world. And so you don't want to enable them. You don't want to be an enabler. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to do everything for them. You don't want to cushion their life because then and that's one thing he also taught me a lot. And he would say, I will not. Now, he didn't, I don't think my dad knew he would die at 47. Okay. So I was 28, he was 47. Um, but he'd always say, I'm not always going to be here, so you got to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet and do not rely on a man, and I do not. And sometimes I'm a little too tough. And so anyways, I have a balance with my other half, but anyways, so I can look back now, but the movie I just told you about before we
Yes,
were like
right
talking,
before we
I
started.
love that
Mhm.
movie. Yes. I see now, like I can see certain things where, he just knew in life and like he would share because you have to learn that, right? Like you it'll be easier for you if you can embrace that.
Sure. Absolutely. Life will be easier if you can embrace that, and
Yes, yes,
if you
yes.
can
Yeah,
learn through navigating certain things. Again, not looking for perfection, but more so, okay, how do we help build resilience to a certain extent? Because we all need to,
right.
right?
Right. Yeah. And I'm sure, my third, I think I want to do my third tip, right? Um, I think this is the most I've ever like dropped certain words that are faith based.
Right.
So clearly I am on a journey, you guys, and I'm refining my faith, right? And so, um, whatever you believe in, I think it's very important to refine that, to embrace that, and, have something that's going to hold you to a higher power, to a higher being. You know what I mean? Like whatever that is. Um, for me, faith is not pretending it's okay. It's all about perception and how you see things and deal with it, right? For me, like, faith is choosing to continue to go on, even when you're tired, right? Sometimes it looks like rest. Sometimes it looks like you're asking for help, faith, right? Sometimes it'll look like just not giving up today. It can look different for everyone, right? And so, since I do kind of want to say that this is faith it till you make it, I do want to
Yeah.
drop that in there, right? So for me, it just faith it till you make it. And let me tell you, this ties into my job because, my job is unique. Like, yes, I've been in histology since I was 18, and I worked in diagnostic for 20 something years. I'm now in clinical trials, right? Whole different beast, right? Even though I know technically my job, again, I'm dealing in a different aspect of the medical world, right? And I literally had to fake it till I made it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying faith it. But whether you're faking it till you make it, you guys, or faithing it till you make it, you don't always have to have the answer. You don't always have to have a perfect plan. And you don't even need clarity. You just need enough faith or fakeness to get
Right.
to the next step. Did you like that?
Love that. I love that. That's great.
You know, faith is a plus, I feel. Do you know what I mean? You can focus on what you value, and I'm going to keep saying that, what you lack, what you can carry through the seasons, because we have different seasons through life.
We do.
And just know that you're going to survive.
Right. Right. And don't enclose yourself in the negative thoughts that can get the best of you. Living too much in your headspace, right? Can get the
Yes,
best of you. Yeah.
yes. So I'm going to close this out, right? So if you're feeling heavy right now, this is your reminder. You're not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You're not failing because your journey looks different, right? And you're not behind. You are becoming. The storm doesn't mean you've lost your way.
Right.
Sometimes it just means it's being reshaped. Look at
Mhm.
me. Like,
Look at you using all sorts of metaphors.
yes, I am. I want to say if all of you can do this today, just breathe, show up, and believe that this season won't last forever. And that should be enough for you. Keep your faith, stay focused on what matters, and trust that even in the middle of the storm, you're still going to move forward. And if this episode spoke to you, please share it. Someone might need this and need this reminder, and you don't have to do this alone, right? So I want to remind you to keep pushing, keep shining, keep thriving. Hashtag self love.